We believe in Carolina basketball. It's not 2024, but it's post-holidays, I guess. We're back. Carolina basketball is in action coming up just in a few hours. So I don't know if anybody will see this little preview show that we're going to do. We'll kind of recap, maybe just go over a few things that stood out with the Oklahoma game. That was, I think, is going to end up being a very big win for us on the resume when the tournament selection process starts. But yeah, man, we're back, bud. We're back, and I feel like our set is growing. I feel like we look good now. We're coming along a little bit.
It'll keep getting better.
Welcome back to the show. My co-host with the most, Mr. Zach Talitsky, my brother-in-law, but honestly, just my brother and Carolina alum. We're getting this thing kicked off. I'm getting excited for conference play. You and I talked about it, and, we don't really need to get too much into it because we do have Charleston Southern tonight. And as we saw with the University of Kentucky, when you overlook anybody, it's college basketball. People can get hot. Things can happen. UNC Wilmington walks into Kentucky and steals one. I don't see that happening with Charleston Southern tonight, but hopefully we take care of business, and we'll go through maybe some keys to the game and kind of what you're looking for from the Tar Heels and anything that stands out. Like, we'll keep it brief. I felt like I went a little long-winded the first time because I was so excited to start this show with you. I've been trying to get you to do some sort of business with me since I met you, and your family now, so you sort of have to. But anything stand out from the Oklahoma game? How you feeling going into the holidays or going into conference play after the holidays? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that was a must-win. I think it's a huge game. I think going 4-2 in that stretch of 6 ranked teams was big, and probably the best stretch of basketball we've played under Hubert, with the notable exception of the run to the finals. But still, an important, maybe the best stretch we've had in the regular season since he's taken over. So huge win, like you said. It sort of takes some of the pressure off going into conference season. The last couple of years, I feel like as a fan, it's been stressful. Like every ACC game you feel like was must win and had all these like NCAA tournament implications. So feeling better. We still need to, play well, and the ACC schedule doesn't do us any favors. We open up with 3 road games. We've seen a bunch of road teams lose early in other conferences. And so, it's going to be tough to open, but that was a great win to have on the resume, and definitely will come in handy come selection day.
Yeah, I read somewhere, and again, please, anyone that ends up watching this, apologies if I'm not quoting this stat correctly. Zach and I are coming back after Christmas, and we're trying to make sure that we do our due diligence and getting this show up. And I didn't get a ton of time to do the research, but I saw somewhere where we had never played 5 ranked teams in that short span of a time in, I guess in the last 100 years, or if ever. So it was like the longest or hardest statistically stretch of basketball that Carolina's schedule has ever seen. Was that correct?
Yeah, that's what they said on the broadcast, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Given the schedule we play annually. So that's no joke. And to come out of that 4-2, feel pretty good about.
Yeah, one of the things that stood out to me, and then we'll, I guess we can kind of look for keys to the game and what you're looking for, because there are some things that I am looking for in this game tonight against Charleston Southern. I was very, very fortunate to play college basketball, and there were certain games, even at Bowling Green, where we would have a couple games right after break where on paper you're supposed to roll, especially at home, and sometimes that can be a trap game, and there's things that you go into that game, even if you're heavily favored, that you want to accomplish. But before we do that, one of the things that stood out to me from the first episode was that you and I kind of raved about RJ Davis, and that trend continued into the OU game. Like he is vastly becoming Joel Berry to me. And the only reason I say that, their games are different, but, and I think you mentioned this, you got to have some dogs on your team. And, people throw that around because of the meme, dog. But RJ Davis seems to make the big shot, take the big shot. He doesn't seem to be rattled to me. And again, like the kids from New York, I know a couple guys that trained and worked with him in high school in New York City, and they rave about, how mentally tough he is. It just shines through. I feel very comfortable with him taking big shots, and it's really nice. And I don't want to pour dirt on any former players, but it's been a few years where I felt like, okay, that's the go-to guy. Like we got to get the ball in his hands. And if he can't get a look, then we'll live with what we get after that. But I love having RJ Davis, and it just seems to, again, shine through and reverberate what we had talked about going into the OU game. It's shown through in that game as well.
Absolutely. I mean, he's playing like a first-team All-American, and yeah, he's what you want in a senior guard. Makes free throws too down the stretch. So if we can get the ball to him, if we're ahead, he's going to make 95% of the free throws. He's taking and making, every big shot. He's like willingness to win, or at least come close to winning, like a Kentucky game. We just couldn't ask anything more from RJ. And I think, having Cadeau on the floor frees him up to be the player that he's probably most comfortable being, and be more of the finisher as opposed to the creator for others, which I think, is better suited for his skill set.
Yeah. If you had a player comp for him, who would you give?
Ooh.
Because it's tough. Again, player comps are challenging, but it makes for interesting conversation. And the reason I say Joel Berry stood out to me because he just made big shots. Like I felt like he was the best version of himself and the best version of the player that he was in the moments that mattered most. RJ seems to be doing that. Now, I think that they do get it done in different ways. Joel Berry seemed to be more of a north-south guy. RJ as well, but has a little bit more wiggle to him. I think RJ's step back is pretty it's pretty incredible. The side step three and the step back three. Like, I think he's got a little bit more in the offensive bag, if you will.
Yeah, or even a Marcus Page, I think both those guys are good recent comps.
Love having Marcus Page on the bench, by the way. That's got to be great for the guys. Younger guy, can relate, not too far removed. I'm sure they do King of the Court all the time and have some nice battles, learn some tricks of the trade. Really, really, really cool. So, all right, headed into Charleston Southern. I looked it up. I think they're like 4-8. I don't foresee them being a very difficult game at home, but you never know. You got to show up. You got to take care of your things. Coming off a break, coming off holiday. Maybe there's some cobwebs there. We're at home. We got to get it done. And for me, I would love to see something from the guys that we're going to need down the stretch. I feel like our stars and the guys that have kind of had big games are going to play well and do well. And even if they don't, this won't be a game where it hurts us a lot. But we really need these 6, 7, 8 in the rotation to start gaining some confidence, start getting some rhythm, reps. What are you looking for from the team?
I think exactly that. I think statistically they're supposed to be the worst team we've played so far. So hopefully we, get a good working margin, able to get, our second team some good minutes, have them play with confidence, have them execute. If not, Hubert's going to have to shrink the bench again. I thought going into the year we would be, 7, 8 deep, maybe more, but it hasn't really played out that way. And so unless these guys can come into games like this and demonstrate they deserve those minutes, I mean, Hubert's going to have to, shrink it going into ACC play. So, they really need to step up if they want to keep seeing the floor.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to Elliot Cadeau continuing to take a step forward. Now, he's not one of the guys that's going to be 6, 7, 8. Like he's going to be in the mix, and I think a very pivotal. I don't think anybody would kind of debate that. He's going to be a pivotal piece to the team's success moving forward. But this is a game where, you try things and you kind of grow in your role a little bit when you don't feel like it's going to cost the team. Like, unfortunately, this sounds bad. I never want, all turnovers are not created equally. So you never want to say, hey, go out there and don't take this team lightly and try new things and don't get out of pocket. But this is a game where I think Elliot Cadeau could be aggressive and kind of find maybe spaces within the offense that he feels comfortable being a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more of a threat, maybe making some more plays because he is a playmaker. So, I think the more and more he gets comfortable, the more and more reps, the more and more minutes that he gets, come ACC play, like that's going to pay big dividends. And I think he's the one starter tonight that could really benefit from just getting reps in, getting game reps,
Agreed. And you want him to be pass first, and that's good for this team, and that's a role he should play. But at the same time, if someone just leaves him wide open from 3, I'd like to see him take it and obviously make it. And having to keep him honest, because as we play better teams who sort of scout us And if he's just looking to pass only, and they slough off of him or take away that quick pass, that's going to be a problem. And it'll just make him quicker. I mean, he's shown great burst and drive, and he gets to the rim, and he's finished well at the rim. But if he, is a threat from three, it's just going to make him a step quicker too. So, I agree. I think this is a good game for him to look to be aggressive, and if they slough off of him, maybe take a couple threes and prove he's a threat.
Yeah, I mean, he's shown the ability to make tough shots. I mean, he hit one going right, coming off a ball screen, fading, to the right towards the baseline, over top of a big that was closing out or drag coverage. And I want to say it was 15, 16 feet, but, tough shot. And he looked comfortable taking it. I think it's just reps and getting confidence. But if he's making those types of plays and those shots and he's comfortable in that role, and it's kind of like not once every blue moon, it's just something that, okay, this is something he can go to and he feels good about it. I think we get real tough on the offensive end if that element is there.
Agreed. Yeah, it's been a little bit unusual. He seems more confident taking tougher, almost like step back mid range than he does, stand still, spot up threes, at least so far, which, I don't know. I haven't seen him take enough threes to know if that's warranted or not. We'll find out.
Yeah, I was also impressed. He had one take. It was kind of a mini break, little secondary break, but he finished at the rim. He's got a lot more bounce than I thought, or I had seen highlights in high school and everything, but he's got some athleticism and some quick twitch, fast twitch muscle, more so than I had imagined against college guys. And so I've been impressed with that too. So I'm looking for a little bit more of that tonight, and hopefully we'll see it.
Yeah, another thing we need from him is just to be a better free throw shooter. I assume he has it in him, but he
Ingram
needs to be
too.
an 80% plus. You're right, Ingram too. It's nice to see Bacot, making 80% plus, but we need those two starters. I mean, it's great that Cormac and RJ over 90. That's a huge bonus. But good to see those two guys step to the line with a little more confidence.
I worry about Ingram just because we're going to need Ingram to play 30 plus minutes in like big game. I mean, against Miami, the Miami game's right around the corner. Not to look forward or overlook this game at all, but in those games that are going to be decided by 2-3 possessions, free throws end up playing a large role. Ingram's going to have the ball a lot. He's going to be in a position where he's aggressive and he's going to get fouled. He's going to go to the line. Do you know what he's shooting right now? The last time I looked, it was in the 60s. Is percentage?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but that's what I would guess. I think that's right.
I haven't looked it up, and I will look it up. Apologies to anyone that's watching this, but has he always struggled at the line? Because as a wing and a scorer for that matter, you would imagine it's 73, 74 and up from the free throw line.
Yeah, especially a guy who came out shooting 50% from three to begin the season.
I kind of hope he finds his 3-point shot too. He's hit sort of a small slump. It was 0 for the other night, and I don't know if he's made. He hadn't taken a ton of them, but I haven't seen him shoot it as well as he did right out of the gate. Now he's at home tonight, so hopefully he'll get some good looks. It does wonders to see the ball go through the hoop, and we need him to be someone that's confident and feels good. I mean, I love what he brings to the team. Like, he's amazing. I feel like he's a two-way guy. I think he rebounds, he helps, he does a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet. But I would like to see him shoot 36 to 38% from three. I mean, 40 would be very, very greedy. But when you're a Carolina fan, you get greedy. So hopefully that'll happen.
Yeah, agreed. We can live with high 30s from him, I think. But anything above that's a bonus.
Yeah. Also, before we go, we're going to cut this short. It's just going to be a little preview show. And obviously we recap the OU games, just things that stood out, RJ Davis being one of them. Want to, give our condolences to the Carolina family. We lost Eric Montross, and I think it would be just a nice thing to put it out there that he was a big part of the program. He will be missed. It's a sad thing. He was a teammate. I think he overlapped Hubert maybe 2 or 3 years. Do you know if that's right?
I think just his freshman year, Hubert's senior year.
Okay. But they were teammates, and then obviously Eric Montross doing play-by-play and been a part of the Carolina family for a very, very long time. And I think you were in school with him. Is that right?
Yeah, we overlapped by 3 years. So he was a contemporary of mine when we were in school.
All right, nice. Well, he is loved. He will not be forgotten. I thought it was a really cool thing where, we always preach Carolina family, and anytime there's hardship, and Hubert, obviously, I would imagine, we haven't had Hubert on yet. Hopefully we will do that. But I would imagine it hit him hard, and he was struggling with it. He did make a statement that he was, having a hard time with it, as most would imagine. And they wore shooter shirts, and he was raving about the team kind of pulling together, and that's what you want from a family in times of hardship. So really proud of the guys, and love that they went out and got that game for Hubert and for the Montross family and the Carolina basketball family and the community. And just wanted to make sure that we took a second. I didn't know, and nor have I ever had any interaction with Eric, but a good friend of both of ours, Mr. Jay Williams, knew Eric pretty well and relayed to me that he was one of the nicest human beings on the planet.
Yeah, I didn't know him either. But I don't know if this game's online. I think it was the 92 game at home against Duke. I think it was, people call it the Bloody Montross game. If it's findable, I highly recommend people go back and watch it. I think we broke a 27 game winning streak that Duke had. That was the Leitner, Grant Hill, Bobby Hurley team.
Don't remember them. Don't remember it.
Yeah. So it may be the only time I stormed the floor when I was at Carolina, but that was an incredible game. Montross, played great. I think he held Leitner to like 12 points or something that game. But if that's findable, it's definitely worth going back and watching. I need to see if it's on YouTube or anything like that, but it'd be fun to go back and watch as an honor to Montross.
Yeah, awesome. All right, last thing before I let you go, give me a score and give me some things that you think will happen or go down. Give me some predictions for the game tonight. I feel like we might break 100.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we may come out a little rusty. We'll see. I like the scheduling here to have them just to break this 9-game or 9-day period up. But I think we'll win by handily 25-30, something like that. I don't know if we'll break 100 or not, but love to see us come out hot and on fire. I just want to see us play with intensity. I don't want to see us come out sluggish and play down to the opponent. And so hopefully, we come out hungry. I want to see the bench play well. And then I just want to see us keep the intensity on defense that we had against Oklahoma. I think we talked about that in our first broadcast. And I just thought we had much more active hands, it shows up in the steal stat line. So let's keep that up, and let's just make that an identity for this team, that type of defensive intensity. If we see that tonight, it'll be really encouraging because it's easy to play down to the opponent, I think.
Yeah, I didn't catch the game, but Charleston Southern did play at NC State and lost by 30. So just to put it into reference, obviously NC State does have a talented team. Their record's really good. I've seen a few of their games. I think that they're pretty well coached. But again, it's hard to say when you only catch a few games, so you never know if someone's hot or whatnot. But for me, just going into this game, because you're talking me off the ledge at all times, and I know anyone that watches this are like, man, he really doesn't like this kid. That's not the case. I'm just really hopeful, and I think that with Jalen Withers or Washington taking steps forward, we become a completely different beast when it comes to conference play, ACC tournament, and NCAA tournament. So I'm really looking for one or two. It doesn't have to be both of them, but one of those two guys to really establish and have a great game and maybe pick up some momentum that maybe they steal a few more minutes than they would have gotten when it comes to the Miami game, which is not too far off, because we're going to need those guys. We're going to need someone to steal a few more minutes.
Both those guys are really talented. We need them both. I mean, if we have Seth, to cover us at 1-2, and then we've got
which
Withers
I love Seth. I feel bad. I haven't mentioned Seth. It should not go unsaid. He didn't run from the grind or what everybody says. He could have left the program very easily and said, "Well, I see the writing on the wall. Like obviously, I'm not in the primary plans in the backcourt." He's been amazing for us. Like we are a much better team with Seth Trimble on our roster.
Yeah, Seth has been great. We need Withers to do that for us on the wing, and we need Jalen to do that for us down low.
Yeah.
But, I like that Hubert pulled Withers after he committed the second foul on the 3-point shot against Oklahoma. He didn't see the floor again.
Yeah.
And so I think you texted me and said, hey, that's how you motivate people. So it's going to be interesting to see, does Hubert put him back out there early? Has Hubert soured on him completely? What kind of minutes does he get? And then how does Withers react? Does he come out and play well, or does he go into a shell here? So I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch in this game.
Yeah, something that we'll never know for a fact, but just to pull the curtain back just a little bit from my experiences playing Division I basketball and going through making multiple mistakes that show up on the scouting report, the way he responded in practice this past week or over the holidays, whatever practice or walkthroughs they've had, is 1,000% going to dictate. And this is a very important stretch for Jalen Withers because it's sink or swim now. We're getting to the beef of the schedule where Hubert Davis is not going to just say, well, maybe he'll come around. Because I think Hubert has been through the ringer as a coach himself, and now he finally has some pieces that he really enjoys. The team's kind of structured in the way he wanted it structured. It's kind of moving out of the Roy recruiting classes, and it's becoming more and more with every game, with every month, with every week, with every scheduled win, loss. It's becoming Hubert Davis's program. Jalen Withers is now not that he's on the hot seat, but it's either he's going to make it in the next few days or we're not going to see much more of him for the rest of the year.
Seems that way. Yeah. It seems like he's at a crossroads. So I'm hoping for him and the team, he comes out and plays really well tonight.
Awesome. All right. Well, hopefully we can get back on here and we'll recap. I should have marked down some predictions to see where we were right or wrong, but I feel like in the discussion we'll point that out. Maybe we get on here tomorrow and recap the game.
Love to.
You're the man. Merry Christmas. Hug the family. Go Heels. And looking forward. We won't break it yet, but it's 90% sure that we have our very first guest going to be joining the show for the Miami Hurricanes game. So it's not the conference opener. We already have a conference win, don't we? Who did we beat? Florida State, I think.
Beat Florida State. That's right. Yeah.
So it'll be I think it's on the road though. Aren't we playing Miami at Miami?
I think
that up right now.
I think our next game is Pitt. We've got Pitt, then Clemson, and then I think a third game on the road. I should know.
Oh, I'm looking at Charleston Southern's. Miami, Florida's schedule. And all right, I pulled it up. Here we go. So, well, the good news is, we do have Pitt, the Clemson. So it's down the road, but we have a very prominent and very well-respected Miami Hurricane former player who is now still actively involved with the Miami Hurricanes. And then also, I don't know, I'll talk to you about it, but Anthony Stacy, a teammate of mine at Bowling Green at the time when he graduated, he was the all-time leading scorer at Bowling Green. He played for Jim Larinaga, and I thought it might be cool to get him on here and maybe talk about him as a coach and share some insight just to give, you a break from listening to my voice,
Yeah, I would love to learn more about Larinaga and his style. He's somebody that it's easy to respect, and he just seemed like he'd be really fun to play for. So I'd love to talk to him about that.
Yeah, iconic too, that Final Four run with George Mason. He's been great for the league. Miami got a winner in him. They are really good.
Yeah, and I love the way they play, and I don't know, it just seems like all of his guys always play with confidence. That's the question I'd want to ask is like, as a coach, like, how do you get your guys to play with confidence? They always just seem really loose and like they're having fun and everybody shoots well. And I don't know.
Sounds good. Well, we're going to get it done. All right, go Heels. We'll talk to you soon. Episode 2 done.
See ya.